Hey everyone, so Ram just came out. I completely forgot she was coming out today. I was in the data mine Discord and they were posting pictures and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then it just didn't even come to my mind she was coming out. Also, daylight savings threw my time off a little bit, so even if I did think she was going to come out, she came out a little earlier than I was anticipating, so uh, that accounts to it as well. Either way, I was busy doing some stuff. Now I'm here doing the video. We have the new OVA Ram, um, one of the cutest characters to come into the game, that's for sure. Not sure so much about her kit. I took a little bit of glance before I started the video, but that was about it. Um, have some thoughts. First off, this is a normal banner. I don't believe we have tickets. They usually never give out tickets for the second subjugation unit. Yeah, just the first one. So we have a 21-day banner for a solid time. One of the cutest characters in the game, the cutest memory in the game for sure. Absolutely adorable. I love this. It's so great. This is definitely worthy of a memory. It's so adorable. And then I believe the banners probably just always take a look, but I'm pretty sure it's just standard 1% rate for the character. Yeah, RAM. 1%, 7.5, 2.5 for characters, 5% for memories. And then, yeah, so take a look at our kit. Switch on over. We have we'll go over the memory first. So, this is a defense memory for Oni demons. I don't know how many defense memories we have for Onis, but we do have a lot of Oni memories in general. But this is very good for Ram in particular. You'll see why in a second, but defense is definitely what you want on her. As well as the two passives, we have reduce all cooldowns by 2 turns when this unit is defeated, and then when attacked, restore 10% of maximum HP. Very good, uh, very good memory to tank with, but she gets a lot of abilities and value out of dying as well. So it's kind of interesting that she's really made to tank, but also just gives so much in dying. Well, we'll just hop into her kit first. On her basic, we have magically attacks a single enemy with 400% power, has a 100% chance to restore 30% of maximum HP. So constantly, it's going to be the maximum HP, not just your 30% of your current HP. Very good. The power of this skill increases the more defense you have, very similar to was it Swimsuit Ram, and then some other units like I think it's Swimsuit Leah, stuff like that is with this unit. Very strong basic already right out the gate. You know, she's looking incredible. Then we have skill 2 at the start of battle, give self defense enhancement for 3 turns. This one is a 70%, yeah, 70%. Then we have when a buff is removed from self, remove 2 debuffs from self and give self stance as well as debuff immunity for 2 turns. When you're defeated, there's a 100% chance to remove all debuffs from all allies and all buffs from all enemies. This is very strong. It's basically a Echidna field skill, except a little bit better because you obviously remove all debuffs from all allies, and it doesn't necessarily mean like better than Echidna. Like with Echidna, she raises the debuff chance and raises or lowers the debuff resistance and stuff like that. Like there's a little bit more to her field skill, but just like in the terms of the whole kind of resetting the battlefield aspect of it, this doesn't reset action gauge or anything like that. But like you're clearing the slate with all buffs from the enemies and then all debuffs from yourself. So that's pretty strong, and I can see it be coming in handy pretty often. Especially, I think you can do some really cool and unique stuff with this potentially in PvP or PvE. I mean, like if you're facing very hard content, you could potentially have a Ram that maybe is level 1 and has the passive active, and she's taking hits because she has cover, and she just procs this for you instantly. You know, if you spawn the battle with like a million debuffs or something, like if there's ever a gimmick like that, I can see that happening. Although this isn't like Seven Deadly Sins where you can always just have gear on for when you need it and then just take it off and have a completely weak unit. If you're gonna hammer this unit, if you're gonna level up this unit, obviously it's always gonna be there. You can't really make her worse unless you intentionally waste hammers on rolling bad rolls every time you need her to be basically a suicide bomber. um, it just could be fun for the little time that you do have her at level 1. That's obviously not going to be her main use. You can't really do that in this game. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. Even with like a fully built out unit, she can potentially just be taking hits left to right. It just instantly die before anything really happens in the fight. Especially in PvE and all-out wars, I can definitely see that being the case. So that's a really niche use that I can see her getting from this. Like, could be interesting. This is very interesting, and I'd love to see how it works. The defense, this is kind of like a buff to mono yellow because we have Ryan, and Ryan can just counter this unit. So if a lot of mono blue teams kind of crouched on this unit in PvP, we can just we get a small buff from that. And I say we because I'm a mono yellow Stan account apparently. I only have mono yellow, none of the other teams. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But yeah, pretty solid buffs you get as well. Stance is pretty solid, although I think mono blue has an abundance of cover, so it is what it is. And then debuff immunity is always very solid, except I think Daphne just counters that. But you know, you also have type advantage against her team, and this is kind of meant to like take out mono red to an extent. And yeah, so it's kind of like a back and forth. It's hard to see how it play out because, you know, Daphne's just insane, but it's a good fighting chance, I'd say. That we have skill 3, magically attacks a single enemy with 1000% power, has a 100% chance to inflict freeze of all things. Freeze, huh? That's pretty interesting. Then distract for 1 turn. In addition, if your defense is 2200 or higher, it attacks all enemies instead. Power of the skill increases the more defense you have. So first off, full defense on this character. Second off, she can go from a single attack to an AoE. I think that's super cool. I don't know how good it's going to be on this character in particular because it doesn't really seem like she's super based on attack, although we've seen in the past that like characters based on other stats rather than just solely attack, like Leah and Rem, they've both been insane DPS characters, even though, you know, obviously you can't really build attack on them, so we'll have to see how this turns out. I want to see her stats. Oh yeah, this is terrible. Our defense is insane though. She's definitely going to be hitting hard. She's for sure DPS. Like, I just don't see this being bad, especially if you actually just go on. 40% defense, that's the equivalent to this being a DPS character with attack, and then this being attack 40%. So just kind of like correlate through that. That's pretty insane. Wow. I think this is super interesting. I'd love to see it applied in more cases because I think that's just kind of a cool thing to have. And yeah, so physical and magical. Blue, melee camp, obviously, only demon maid. Really good, she's a maid. I mean, obviously, but still. Defense, our bonus skills, we have the defense again, 40%, debuff resistance, 20%. Very solid thing to have on a tank. I'd rather have HP and debuff resistance or defense and debuff resistance rather than HP and defense. Because debuffing is just a huge part of the game, and I think having resistance towards it is always really nice. As well as your leader skill. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of these already in the game, but you know, increase blue allies debuff resistance by 50%, can't really go wrong there. Really good HP, I'd say. Pretty solid, given the fact that she's like completely all in on defense. Just having this like there is really nice. Attack is on the low side, but again, you don't need attack for this character. Agility is pretty low, but she's kind of like a tank. It's obvious that she can be, she has DPS potential, but I think the main reason for her is tanking and dying ultimately. So agility isn't too much needed. Crit rate, crit damage, 50 to 120. Debuff success rate is at 20. Is it? I thought it was 35. You should just have inherently low debuff success rate. I mean, I guess you don't need it to proc because the distraction freeze, like freeze is kind of mid, and then distraction actually has a lot of single target potential. I think an AoE though, definitely needed the 35 here. That would have been nice to have an AoE distraction unit, but whatever. Debuff resistance is 55%, that's pretty nice. And I'd say this unit's pretty cool, to be honest. They did some very interesting things with her. She's very unique. I kind of really dig her. I don't think she's game changing or anything, but I do think if you have mono blue somewhat built out, she's a great unit to get. Thinking without mono blue, I don't know how much you'd really want it. I guess you can actually, this unit's pretty self-sufficient. She doesn't really necessarily require any mono blue. she can be run alone, I think she's a solid pick, or a solid pull. If you want to go for this unit, I'd say go for it. I think she's pretty cool. She works very self-sufficient. She can work on any team because she doesn't really have any team restrictions. Like, once she dies, it doesn't say only blue allies have cooldowns increased, with the memory, and then only blue allies have all their debuffs removed. It doesn't say that. It says all allies. So I think she can be ran pretty much on every team. We've seen a situation like Swimsuit Ram, where she increases crits by 50% for anyone on the team. That's why she's just such a good fifth to have on a team when you can run her. I think that's going to be the case for this unit. She's going to be pretty fun to run. I think obviously she's probably going to shine on mono blue, just because that's just the meta now in PvP. But in PvE, she can probably do some really interesting stuff. Again, with the suicide bomber thing, I don't know how long that's going to last, because once you level up a unit, obviously you can't get a dupe of a unit. You can't go back on making that unit worse, so it's not like a case where you can put gear on them and then take the gear off whenever you need it. It's kind of like a permanent thing, but I mean, you can try and find some uses. Again, when events hit you for like insanely hard, they'll one tap all of your gold characters. She'll be great here because she can just die and take a lot of the hits. But yeah, I think she's a pretty interesting character, and if you want to summon for her, I'm not gonna hold you to it. Also, she's very cute. The entire design of this character, especially the memory. The memory is probably my favorite one in the game. I think it was kind of, before this was kind of between like the idle memory, because I just love the art. I thought it was so unique, and probably any of the Elsa memories, especially the If memories, because they have somewhat new art. Or obviously they did have new art, and it kind of was like a different sort of art style. I thought it was just really cool, like the free ones you get from the story. I thought those were sick. But this is just so cute. How can you hate this? I really wish I had gems to summon on this unit, but obviously I can't be summoning on every single banner that comes out. But it is what it is. If you are going to summon, I wish you luck. This character is pretty cool, and I'd love to see what people can really do with her. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.